It's a common belief that large companies are slow simply because they're big and complacent. The truth, however, is more complex. The very systems that make them so powerful also create a powerful resistance to change, a dynamic with profound consequences in a fast-moving world. To understand this, we'll begin by exploring the core paradox that large organizations face. From there, we'll examine the burdens of scale, the psychological forces that resist change, and the hidden trap of past success. Finally, we'll see how all of this creates a fundamental trade-off between stability and agility. So let's start with a common comparison: the nimble startup versus the established corporation. A useful analogy is to think of a startup as a speedboat. It's nimble, fast, and can change direction in an instant. A large corporation, on the other hand, is more like a container ship. It's immensely powerful and carries enormous value, but its movements are deliberate, and it's inherently risk-averse. One is built for speed, the other is built for stability. Well, why can't that container ship turn on a dime? The answer lies in the unavoidable burdens that come with its sheer size. At the heart of this cautiousness is a powerful force known as organizational inertia. This isn't just a feeling of slowness, it's an active tendency for the organization to stay on its current path and resist change. And this inertia comes from very real-world responsibilities. A large company has to navigate a web of government regulations. It has to support millions of existing customers who rely on its stability. It has to maintain legacy systems built up over decades, and of course, it has to manage its own internal bureaucracy. These are all burdens a startup simply doesn't carry. Now, beyond these structural issues, there are also strong psychological forces at work, all reinforcing a preference for the way things are right now. The first of these is something called status quo bias. It's a natural human tendency to prefer that things stay the same. Inside a big company, this translates to a collective preference for the familiar, even if a change might lead to a better outcome. This bias is then amplified by loss aversion. Psychologically, the pain of losing something feels about twice as powerful as the pleasure of an equivalent gain. This makes the potential downside of a change feel far more significant than its potential upside. When you put these two biases together, they create a powerful psychological barrier. The fear of disrupting a stable, profitable business almost always feels heavier than the appeal of a new, unproven opportunity. And this leads to a real paradox. The very success that builds a company can also create a trap that holds it back. See, years of success lead to highly efficient systems, all designed to perfect a winning formula. But this intense focus can lead to what's known as the success trap. Organizations really have to balance two competing activities. On the one hand, there's exploitation. That's refining what you already know how to do. It's about getting more efficient and making incremental gains. On the other hand, there's exploration, searching for something entirely new. It's a much riskier and more uncertain path. The success trap happens when the systems built for exploitation, the metrics, the budgets, the career paths, become so dominant that they effectively starve exploration. The organization becomes excellent at what it already does, but grows blind to what it could do next. And history is full of examples. Kodak and Polaroid were absolute masters of exploitation, perfecting chemical film. But they fell squarely into this success trap by failing to seriously explore the shifted digital technologies, which ultimately made their core businesses obsolete. So how do all these pieces, the scale, the psychology, the success, fit together? Well, they lock into a powerful self-reinforcing system. It's a reinforcing cycle. Success at scale leads to hardened processes that are designed for exploitation. This intense focus makes any significant change feel incredibly risky. And so, the organization doubles down on the stable model that brought it success in the first place, and the cycle repeats. And this reveals the core trade-off. The very system that makes a large company stable, profitable, and reliable is the exact same system that makes it cautious and less able to adapt to radical change. So, what is the most important thing to understand about this dynamic? The key takeaway is this: a large company's cautiousness is rarely a simple failure of will or imagination. Instead, it's an emergent property, a natural outcome of a system that's been perfectly designed to manage scale, minimize risk, and perpetuate its own success. In that system, caution isn't a bug, it's a feature.